Hi folks, today I thought I would talk about aerobic decoupling, and for whatever reason I just like the sound of that. Aerobic decoupling. It's just kind of a neat phrase, but what in the heck is aerobic decoupling and how would you use it? So first of all, in order to know if you've got aerobic decoupling or coupling, as it will, you need to know the pace you're running, and you need either a heart rate monitor or a power meter. So you need your pace, then either heart rate or power. You could have both, but in theory they should kind of show you the exact same things. You need to be running in a relatively flat. So hills are going to have an impact on this because your pace and heart rate and power all change when you're on hills. So you want it to be relatively flat. And it should be a steady run. Now, steady doesn't mean it has to be the same pace all the time, but it doesn't work very well with interval running. It needs to be something where you're running from start to finish. So again, you need pace and then heart rate or the power meter. Heart rate's going to be the most common. Relatively flat and a steady run. So then, what the heck is this? So your pace and then your heart rate or your power should follow relatively parallel paths. Now, in the examples I'm going to show you, it shows heart rate on top. Doesn't mean your heart rate's supposed to be on top. But where the heart rate is all depends upon your heart rate, your pace. But generally speaking, your heart rate or power and your pace should follow pretty parallel paths. So it might look like this. And you can see here's a line showing your pace. In this case, the person's maybe gradually getting a little bit faster and their heart rate is largely following it. At the very end, I got the heart rate a little bit closer, but generally they're following pretty parallel paths. Now at the beginning, that's not going to be true because until you get going, your heart rate usually starts down and then it has to climb, so it's not going to be even all the way through. You're waiting until you get a couple miles in. But again, heart rate, power would be doing the same thing, and pace should follow a relatively parallel path. Now when you become decoupled is when it might look like this. You can see that heart rate and pace were following a pretty parallel path, and then decoupling began. The heart rate began to climb relative to the pace. Or heart rate might stay the same, but pace might go down. But the bottom line is you begin to see some type of a gap, and I'm showing you on here where that decoupling is taking place. Okay, great. I've got a heart rate monitor. I'm running a steady course. I can look and tell. I saw that I was decoupling at mile 12 or whatever. What the heck does that mean? Well, the two most common reasons that you're going to decouple are you're dehydrated or it's a lack of aerobic fitness. So if you get to, again, let's say that mile 12 and you see your decoupling and you know that you weren't hydrating very well, that's probably the reason. And it's also further evidence that you got to do a good job hydrating or it's going to end up impacting your performance. So try fixing the hydration and see what happens. But let's say, geez, I was really well hydrated, but I was still decoupling. So first, I really wouldn't worry probably about any one run. You're looking for some trends over time. But let's say that you're seeing this kind of consistently happen right around mile 12 or 13, you start to decouple. That's an indication that you're lacking in some aerobic fitness when you get to those distances. Get my paper up again. So you really need to start working on your base to include your base and getting those easy runs and getting in there and try and push that so you can get to a point where they stay coupled the entire time, because that's the holy grail. In this particular example, if you were getting ready to train for a marathon or you're getting ready to do a marathon, I tell you, you're going to be in trouble because your heart rate's starting to get away from you already at mile 12. By the time you get to mile 26, they're going to be like this and you're going to die because your heart rate is getting too high. So again, don't look at just one run, but look at a combinations of runs. So as I said, aerobic decoupling, I kind of like the phrase, and I think it's a very useful metric.